everyone, welcome back at the Expert Desk. I am joined by DM, and we are going to take a look at who wore it best between Thor and Hoonbats. Let's take a look at that graphic right now.
Maybe.
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 All right, everybody. So when I think about Thor,
I don't care what this graphic says. We know that you think of Thor, you think of Gars. That's plain and simple.
But I mean, Thor is a very well-rounded character overall between a lot of the jungling role. And personally, do you think that Thor is the strongest player for jungling right now, especially when it's in the hand of Gars?
I mean, he has movement, he has a almost global presence, he has an insane amount of damage, he has range CC. The character just brings everything to the table. And when you have such an ability like Gars does, and maybe the presence of mind in teamfights of when to stun and when to go for the double tap and when to teleport and when to get that ultimate, not even to hit the damage, but just to block a path off, it results in some upsets.
I mean, let's look a little bit at these stats, though. Gars has a 56% win rate, but the most games played, while Lasis has an 83% win rate. Why do you think that it's a bit higher than Gars?
Well, I mean, going into the qualifiers, Lasis is on Dignitas, the team that was first seed forever, whereas Cog Red really had to work their way kind of like into their team synergy. I mean, as we saw, maybe the qualifiers don't dictate everything. They just defeated Seed 1. That's
right. And another great jungler is Hoonbats, which we've seen a lot today in today's competition. Hoonbats, DM, which player wore it best?
Well, Weekend is still new to the whole experience of the tournaments. He didn't get into the qualifiers, so we have no stats there. Lasis, 100% win rate, only have playing him twice, but a fairly low KDA, whereas you see a close to 70% win rate up there for Anister over 13 games, but then a 4.27 kill-to-death ratio. Gars kind of falling in the middle between the two.
Yeah, but with Anister, he picks Hoonbats a lot. Do you think that there's a particular reason why he chooses Hoonbats over other jungling gods?
I have to think it's team chemistry. I mean, the ultimate is huge. It sets up major kills and major team fight potential for his team. It's less about solo kills and more about working together, and that's one of the things Cog and now Cog Red just does so well.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility that we're going to see Hoonbats or Thor up in this next game. It is going to be game 2, everybody, between Dignitas and Snipe, joined by hi-rez Bar and Dry Bear for casting.
Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa. Welcome back. I knew the mic was going to come on eventually there, Dry Bear. My name is hi-rez Bar, joining me, the one and only incomparable Dry Bear, and we are moments away from game number 2, Snipe versus Dignitas.
Oh man, that first match was so much of a nail-biter, and not really much from the numbers, but more from just like the event feel. I mean, you see Lasis up there driving down the numbers as far as like pushing in the mid, going for the objectives, getting the good banishes, but it's just really what was the team as a whole that brought it together. I mean, they grouped up well enough that everyone did their job right. I mean, it seemed like Snipe was missing that X factor of able to kind of group up and get what they wanted. They were just, you know, 2 over here, 2 over there, 1 in the back.
What kind of player maybe would you say is an X factor?
An X factor? What kind of player?
Like maybe like a Shing or something that maybe would have been the.
Which one's Shing again?
Shining?
Oh, Nuaz 3. Nuaz 3.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, are we really talking about the lack of Shing on Snipe?
Well, he's the one that drove the aggression, right? He was on the forefront of the battlefront, just making people fight. He was like, fight. And the other thing about Shing is that anytime someone goes too far, he'll jump on you and he'll bite you real deep. And that's the biggest thing that Snipe is missing right now, is that pressure. I think the big thing as well is that, you know, when you're going into the mid game, Allied really needs to get more gold. He needs to get that farm up, because the problem is that when they transition, it's just everyone's leaving without him.
Sure. But with that, let's take a look at our picks and bans, guys. Coming through from Dignitas, Osiris, very obviously banned out. Ra taken out as well, this time by Dignitas.
Yeah, so Dignitas will actually take first pick, first ban here over Snipe. 1-0, Snipe just elected to give that one away. So Ra's going to go away. Not really too surprisingly, Ra's a very powerful character. Loki got to go away. You cannot let Lasis have Loki. It's his best character by far, and he loves playing it. So taking that one away off the board. The question is, what do you get rid of now? I mean, Athena?
Yeah, Athena's gone. Loki as well, which is going to be, wow. You can tell how much Dignitas knows that Shadow, well, hold on. Let me scratch that. Shadow Q's drafting for the team and first pick Geb. So you can tell how much Shadow Q values himself.
He does. But for good reason. Now, Rom's going to go over to Snipe. I don't think Dignitas really cares too much. I mean, obviously, Ali played Rom last time.
I mean, they were like Rom versus Geb.
But here's the thing. I mean, they feel like Zatman can play every single hunter effectively, as we saw in the last match, playing Neath. Not really one of the most popular. It's not even his most popular character. He just played it to a high level, was able to succeed, got the damage out. And we saw in that replay at the end of the match that he just dominated with the damage output, and that's what hunters do best. Zhonghui is going to be locked in here for Snipe. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Well, I know exactly what it's going to be, in fact, but it looks like they're going to be taking a look at Ullr and Agni, and they will be locking in these two gods. So Ullr going the way of Zap, one of his favorite hunters. High burst damage, very nice scaling into the late game, has the steroid, doesn't scale late, has the burst in the mid game to be very effective. Pairing that with an Agni and a Geb, a lot of lockdown, a lot of burst on top of the burst that Ullr brings to the table already. It should be a very dynamic game from Dignitas.
Well, it's not one of his favorite, it is his favorite. It's his most played hunter across the board.
Man, look at
is the big one. Bak is going to be locked in here. Now, with Athena banned and Geb locked in, I think that's why they swapped it. They're looking at Rom and thinking, wait, they banned Athena.
Right.
Let's just get the other one.
Sure.
And they got Geb and then locked it in here. And so now they're forced into Bacchus. Now, they like Bacchus.
Kumba's still on the board, though.
Kumba has been ignored all day long and for good reason. I talked to Jeff Hindla about it, and the way he was describing it is that it's too situational. I mean, you have a great setup, but if you do nothing with the setup, he doesn't really have any follow-up after that. So they want more aggression. Bacchus jumps in, got the knockup with the slow, he got the ultimate to do lots of burst damage, whereas Kumba's more like, I can CC you, but beyond that, I'm not going to do anything. So that's why they're preferring more of the aggressive supports rather than the CCs
Very
heavy
strange,
supports.
though, considering that the nerf that he got was radius
in the
of
patch
his
we're not playing.
mez. On the patch we're not playing. and in this patch, he was considered the top support, bar none.
And probably with the most requests, I think it's the second most requested ban from the community as it stands right now. So really weird there. Nemesis is going to be locked in here for Snipe. We'll see how this works. So Snipe, going into this weekend, had 3 matches recorded, 2 with Thor, 1 with Freya. He now also has a match recorded with Mercury. So now he's going to lock in Nemesis, see what he goes with. So Bacchus, Junkwe, Rom, and Nemesis, interesting. Please do it.
Please.
Please do it.
Just give Vulcan.
Please.
Give Vulcan, please.
I love Vulcan. Do it.
Give it to me.
Do it.
Do it for
on.
Mama Sita.
Come on, everybody. Do it.
Vulcan.
Do it.
Vulcan.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh, they locked it in. They locked it in. They're taking Vulcan.
That's it.
Wow. Dignitas with the fan favorite there. It's picking up the Vulcan. They're going to take a look at Thanatos, but it will ultimately land on Ra for them. Another thing, Drybear, I do want to point out before we weigh in on what a Vulcan means is Bacchus and Rom. Now, when Rom first came out, there was a lot of theory crafting around how this pair in particular might do. Will they be giving Bacchus the blue buff here?
Yes. The biggest thing about Bacchus is that he can actually manage his mana a lot more effectively. He doesn't have to worry about using the chug. So it's going to be Bacchus, it's going to be Nemesis, Junkwe, Rom. Looks like Hubwa's hovered on here.
EU's around the world delight in the fact that Hubwa finally picked.
Though. I believe this is going to be a mid-Hubwa because we do know Kiki loves Junkwe. He's the 3rd most played character, so we're going to put it in there in the mid lane there. So it's going to be Hubwa versus Vulcan, which Vulcan's pretty comfortable with. He has the range to outrange him, plus the knock-up stun. They're able to knock up each other. So Vulcan going in the mid lane is a big thing. Now, the other thing, and we'll see how well Best plays Vulcan here, but the thing that I like about Vulcan
No, that's going to Tolly. That's going to Soul Lane.
Totally, in the Soul Lane with Vulcan. So we'll see what Best and Ogden. So it's actually going to be Vulcan versus Junkwe, which is even better, actually, because you can actually knock him up, stun him, and keep him from using the Exorcism. And if he wants to use it afterwards, he takes a lot of damage in the process. So I think there's a lot of damage across the board on both teams. I think Snipe really has to get an early game going. You got Nemesis in the works. You've got a lot of aggression with the Rom, who needs to farm as much as he possibly can. I think they need to do a lot more early to make this work.
Yeah, the Nemesis ult ripping away protection synergizes very well with Hubwa as well as Bacchus. A lot of magical burst damage to go along with that protection stripping. But I got to tell you, man, I am not too bullish on really the synergy that we're going to get out of this kind of solo lane that's going on with Snipe right now. Junkwe going up against Vulcan. Vulcan just going to be able to really passive it out. It's a tall task, a big ask here for Snipe.
So we'll see. I mean, you know, Nemesis, never seen before in Weekend. Weekend, a rather new player in competition. We don't really have a lot of, things to look at for him. So we'll see how he plays out in Nemesis. The big thing about Nemesis, though, is that she kind of has this pseudo connection between being able to be a high burst assassin, but also have basic attack damage output. Getting that chin size and sticking close to people and dealing out that amount of consistent damage, which bridges the gap between the burst and then the basic attack, allowing her to do constant damage across the board. We know Junkwe can be very effective. It's Kiki's 3rd most played character, and he does it very, very well. We'll see how it handles, how he handles himself in the Soul Lane. Previously, Totally actually won the Soul Lane pretty heavily. And
did
we'll
quite
see
well
how
against Kiki.
Vulcan can shift over into that.
Well, with that, let's go ahead and introduce your teams, ladies and gentlemen, as Snipe makes their way 5-manning across the mid lane here. Are they going to run into the Best? I think he saw them, and Dignitas going to retreat. So we will carry on with introducing your teams. They are the blue team, fighting out of the bottom side of the minimap and the left side of your spectator UI. Up 1-0. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Team Dignitas. They are Zapman and ShadowQ as your dual lane, Ullr and Geb. The Best will be in the mid lane as Agni, and Atoli in the solo lane as Vulcan and Lassus in the jungle. The captain captain as Thor. Their opponents today wearing the red trunks, fighting on the top side of the minimap and the right side of your spectator UI. It is Snipe Gaming. They are Kiki the Trunk in the solo lane as Zhonger, Allied and Incontinentia combining for the dual lane Rom and Bacchus. Jerby will be your Hubwa in the mid lane, and Weaken, your jungler as Nemesis. Kiki in some trouble here now as Lassus is putting a lot of damage out onto him.
Invade, and here it comes. I love invasions coming out here. Good stun on Kiki, forcing him back to the tower. Weaken is there, but what is he really going to do? Trying to hog it. Actually doesn't get it. He gets the movement speed and goes back to the tower. Dignitas wears their head low and walks away from the fight. There's the bomb. Anatoly in trouble. The body block, the swings. He's got the movement speed. He's got the attack speed. The slice dice coming through. Anatoly in a lot of trouble. Could this be first blood? Could this turn around? There's the hit. The card. First blood comes out from Snipe. And here's the thing. This is the first time Anatoly's ever played Vulcan in competition, and he gives away first blood.
That's why you don't do it for the first time. But they are up a game nothing, so it's time to bring out the pocket picks. I do want to check back in with the thought we had earlier. It will be, in fact, Allied picking up that blue buff, not going to Bacchus.
Interestingly enough, but it'll also allow him to push away a little more effective, but also allow Incon to rotate more. Because you've had the blue buff, you want to be in the lane, push, 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 push. Satman knocked up. There's the damage. The slow on top could have a stun. Nope, not going to go for that one. But you can see the damage transfer they have between Bacchus and Rom. This is why aggressive supports are so popular.
Oh, that's in a lot of trouble. Midline, he's dead. Ooh. Already using his dash to farm the wave, gets caught out by an easy rotation, and Dignitas is slipping in this game.
Jerby has played Hobble once in competition. He won that match 8-1-5, so an 8.0 kill death, and then of course a little bit higher there on the kill death assist ratio. So doing very well for himself. And here's the problem. Hobwa's only real weakness is early laning, where he can be abused heavily. He has to get close to the wave, low HP values, but if you give a kill to him and then leave the lane alone for a little while, here's the thing. Ogni's now returning to lane level 2. Jerby's about to hit level 5.
True, and really one of the things about Hobwa here is he doesn't have a great matchup against Thor. The Thor wall stopping the crushing wave from being able to progress. Thor's ulting in, doing a lot of damage and setting up that stun rotation, and Hobwa very easy to burst down. But with Jerby, as you mentioned, the level advantage, getting that HP should be fairly safe now, as Lassus really needs to try to recoup some farm, falling behind the enemy jungler Weaken.
My eyes are glued to Vest right now, because the thing is, if he's not in dash range of the tower, he's going to die. Nemesis ultimate, slow from the slice and dice. If he doesn't dash into the tower, if it's like a little bit too far and he's dashing still in the lane, they're going to kill him. They have the knock-up, they have the slow, they have the whoever. So let's look at the stats here between the two mid laners. Jerby sitting at 71% win with 3.12 kill death. A little bit higher than that on the GPM is going to be the best. You see, overall, he wins out in every single category. But the other thing is that Jerby has bad characters and Jerby has good characters, whereas Best plays the same on all characters. So we're seeing right now a good character for Jerby with a good lead. The stats may not matter here.
I think that unequivocally the stats don't matter here. As you mentioned, only one game to note on Hebo, or Hubwa, as we call him these days. But so, I mean, yeah, you can't really rely on his previous game stats to talk about this god. All we know is that in the one game that he played before this did quite well, and Jerby was very effective in the last game as well. But we'll see if it's going to be enough. Dignitas starting to stabilize after that early loss, starting to build back a little of that gold. They brought the lead back to about 1,000. It was inching up towards about 1,500, but once again sitting around 1,000 gold in favor of Snipe. Is it going to be enough for them to take the mid game, though, where Dignitas really starts to come online with their big team fight potential?
Slice and dice on the Shadow Q. Forcing the shield's going to be up there. There's a Cataclysm as well. There's no follow-up here. They got one bomb. The Best doesn't want to commit. He's got no meteors left. Weaken's right on top. Thorduck's going to hit nothing. Pathflame's coming out there. Jerby is not really convinced he has to commit to this. Zatman forced out of the fight. They've got full control of the mid area. This is insane.
To not see Gold Fury right there. Right, they know that they have no meteors left on Agni.
I disagree on that, because I think that the big thing for Dig is that they're an early game team, and Snipe knows that. So if they go to mid game and they're a little bit ahead, they're happy with that. They don't want to give Dig any chance to come back in this match for any reason, so they just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. It's very uncommon for Dig to be behind 1,100 gold at 4 minutes in the match, and Snipe knows it. They've got a hyper carry on Hobwa. They've got Nemesis. They've got Rom in the pocket. They have so much damage.
In a lot of trouble here. Jerby crushing wave coming through. He's going to fire off the Earthshaker, but it's just not enough. Down goes Tolly to an easy rotation in the knockup from the Hubwa in mid lane.
You know one of the most terrifying things in Smite is? Hobwa coming from behind you. Because all of a sudden you see you get knocked up in the air, like, why am I? Dang it.
And then you hear the wailing cry of the old man River crashing through and dealing thousands of damage to your face.
That thing that you can do nothing about, because it slows you on the knockup, and then there's a river on the ground, and there's wet paper all over the place, and it's just really awkward. Defending the mid tower is going to be Lassus here as the creeps are running back up. The best coming back to the lane here. Here's the problem, though. 3,600 gold on Weekend across the way. The most farmed on Dig is going to be Lassus at 3,100. So Weekend is incredibly farmed here. If he rushes that chin size, not only can he glue to people, but he's going to be doing tons of damage, and they have a lot of squishy characters.
It feels a little bit like the final hurrah for Anatoly. Like, you got to let me pick Vulcan one time in competitive play, guys. Come on. Just once. I'm the manager after this tournament. Just let me play Vulcan one time, please.
I love Vulcan, but looks like Weekend loves Lassus. Looking for that slow. Going to find that. Turret's going to do a lot of damage there. There's a knock up from the meatball as well. We'll see what he goes for in the solo and after his Warlock Sash here. Very common build, especially from players that do like Vulcan, like Game Hunter over in EU. Looking at animation right now, we see Ali going straight for that Devourer Gauntlet right before Boots, actually, across the way. Zapman, surprisingly enough, goes for Heartseeker. Generally, no, he likes to go for Transcendence. I think he just wants damage early.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of subscribing more and more to that European style of build for the Hunters. Heartseeker into Dev's Glove, into Boots. I'd expect to see both items coming out for Zapman today.
So we do see Lassus playing Thor. Lass actually has an 83% win with Thor, but his kill death is incredibly low, well under average, actually. And look at the damage dealt. His damage dealt on Thor is incredibly low as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a pretty high win rate, but very little damage done, no kills taken, a decent amount of assists. But, you know, as far as Thor goes, Lassus plays him like an initiator and a team fighter.
Please tell me we can. Oh, yes, there's a red ward here that he's just placed over the wall. Orange buff about to respawn. Lassus is going to start it. Are they going to not invade this? Yes, they are. Weekend waiting to turn the corner, just waiting. Here it goes. Now in range. Will Lassus reset? No, he's going to be moved in. He's not going to get it, though. It's going to go the way of Lassus. Just mistiming the hog. Barely there is Weekend.
Throwing Bacchus's meat into a wall there, bouncing off the tree and landing on the ground. Beautiful spectacle. Ally dropping low here. Looks like no follow-up from Shadow Q. No blink available. He's saving his money just to finish off those boots, and for good reason. He wants that gold gain early as he's falling very much behind. In fact, he's the least farmed in the entire game, and he's got to try and fix that. Mid lane, Derby is sitting on a lot of gold himself, 4,100. In fact, he's tied for first overall, and you never want to have a Hobwa with the most farm in the game.
Good news for Dignitas. Best starting to close that gap. Made him has farmed himself up to a bit over 500 XP per minute, 540 to be exact. Taking a look over at Derby, he's sitting around that 650 mark as well. But those rotations starting to let Best get back into this game, and Agni definitely has the damage to come from behind.
Mid lane, there's initiation. The belly flops there on Shadow Q. In the jungle, we see Kiki going after Lassus, forcing him back away. The base is coming through here now, looking for Shadow Q. There goes the fall off, and Weekend is just pushing him back freely. It doesn't seem like he wants to commit, but he certainly can. Oh, Lassus is actually going to cancel his back. The mid camp is here. I don't see them fighting this. This is just free for Snipe.
Oh yeah. They're giving that one away for sure. And now it's, I mean, this has been Snipe's game. Oh, Jeremy Blake over the wall. He smells blood. Crushing wave coming through. Waterhand's missing. Lassus is going to live. Oh, just a misplay from Jerby there.
Tully.
Really hate to see that happen over the wall. Incon doesn't find the kill. There's an Aegis from Tully. He was already safe, but we know that he didn't. Tough play from Jerby there.
Well, he was hoping to avoid the knock-up water cannon from Hubble from behind, just making sure that does not go down. And honestly, it's a pretty good usage there, considering the fact it is tier 1, and he's looking to finish off that Warlock Sash which he can keep himself alive with. Hunters in the left lane are going head-to-head here. Ally being forced back, but it's pretty even across the board. Ally missing the first shot there from the dash, which of course will use up that single Astral Arrow and will not have the cripple or the extra bonus damage. Now, looking at Weekend here, getting pretty close to finishing off that chin size. He's got the tier 1 already. He's got no gold to his name, but he just needs 2 more tiers, and that's locked in. Last in the jungle, looking to compete against this damage buff, but Jerby's going to lock that one in for himself, waiting for Weekend to come by. Jerby's just getting so much gold here. Yeah. Kiki's getting so much gold. Weekend's getting so much gold. And those are the most damaging characters in the game.
That's right. I mean, Dignitas is a team comp that is built around team fighting. They want to find picks in the early stages of the game and then use their really superior stuns in the kind of team fight stage of the game to deal with what Snipe brings to the table, which is a little bit more of isolate a single player and burst them down quickly. That Nemesis ultimate on top of Hubwa as well. Very competent at doing that. The real X factor here is going to be in Continentia and Kiki, the Chunk's ability to work together. Lassus could be in trouble. He's ulting up and not just me in time.
Ooh, did he get the card?
Nah, he's fine.
Like he didn't get the card, so not going to be able to. Oh, the Ghost, get him, Ghost, get him. Yeah, you got him. You got him, Ghost. Go, buddy.
That ghost never quits.
He does.
Jerby's still smelling blood here, though. Probably has that blink back available. Yeah, he's going to go in.
Jerby wants it.
Does he have it?
Good stun the bomb. Crushing wave gets it. Now looking for the fall beyond the best. Knocks him in the air, then puts the wet paper on the ground. Vulcan coming through by Anatoly. Has his ultimate. There's a blink as well. Is it the ultimate? Will he shake his stuff? Looks like he's not going to let that one get away just yet. Zapman avoids the belly flop with the 1-2 juke. Zapman casually walking away from the flying fat man.
Smart plays there. Once again, a lot of cheeky plays so far in this matchup there. Best with a little bit of his own in the last game, and here's Zapman putting out the jukes.
On the right side, Anatoly right over to the solo lane to keep that one in check. The tower damage is relatively low. In fact, the only tower that's taking any noticeable damage is the tier 1 mid tower on the side of Snipe. Look at the gold numbers right now with 4-0 lead at 10 minutes. We see Snipe leading 2,000 gold and 2,400 experience. A very strong lead considering the fact that Dignitas is an early game team. And so having this is so incredibly valuable.
Also want to point out that Bacchus has finally finished his epic battle fighting the enemy ward at the Gold Fury. Did put that sentry down. It was a long, drawn-out battle. Eventually, Bacchus able to auto-attack that ward down.
Well, they can just surrender now. They're done.
That's right. He did kill the ward.
That's it.
He finally did it.
Ward is dead.
Yeah.
The heal, the Allied's going to go for the double stacking here. Looks like he's going straight for the Heart Secret after the fact. Across the way, Zapman is just going for boots and actually going to be picking that one up and making sure he gets a little bit of penetration. The Gold Fury is available. Last is going to go for the movement speed here and pick this one up and move towards the mid lane. I would imagine mid camp on the right side will go to Snipe, but everything is pretty much as is. Anatoly finally finishing that Warlock Sash, going to stack that up for a little more defense. That has a blink as well. I think he's just afraid of the closeness to characters like Rom or Nemesis or Habwa with too much burst damage.
This is an interesting game, right? Because Agni has the Bancroft's Talon done and Boots 1. Jerby on the other side has the Pen Boots and Bancroft's 2 with a Talon Trinket. Best rushing into that item, giving a bit more life steal, but he just can't deal with the burst from Jerby. The poke has been too much. He's not able to recoup that life fast enough to deal with this, and that extra pen really hurting. Best has extended himself a bit. He's going to get knocked up. He's going to take Water Hands as well, and Jerby with the blink. Not going to get it. Doesn't matter. Water Hands too much, and as you can see there, basically
not
fully
over
zoned
yet.
out of
Nemesis
the lane.
left side, look for the follow-up on Shadow. You're going to try to find for Zapman. Up in the air goes hit. 1,
bam,
2,
thank you,
and
bam.
big pickup there. Zapman going to go down in the end of that fight. On the rotation over comes Last trying to defend this left side tower, but a big pickup for Snipe. It's going to be another one. So a death in the mid lane, a death in the left lane. The Gold Fury is available, and this time I think they should go for it.
Yes, they will be looking for the Gold Fury here. Jerby's going to take some Berserker Barrage damage, but Lassus realizes very quickly it's not going to be enough to kill and forced to run away. And we're looking at a 6-0 game in favor of Snipe. Lassus, an opportunity to kill Jerby here, but he needs to be careful because he can die in 3 spells. Jerby auto attack 1, 2, Berserker Barrage. He does secure that. A nice play by Lassus there to secure that kill, but he may get chased down by Weaken.
Ultimately, he's got movement speed buff on top, but so does Weaken. He needs to get the slow on top of him to force him away. Looks like they don't really realize, yeah, he's got teleport soon. He's going to get away from that one. Looks like he does. He should. No, he doesn't have his ultimate available, but would be coming up shortly. The Fire Giant area is getting covered by a lot of wards from Snipe. I like the coverage, but the Gold Fury going down means they're 3,300 golden lead and 3,500 experience. Things are looking pretty grim for Dig as far as like the early game control goes, and that means that more objectives are going to be in the favor of Snipe and could extrapolate into a pretty strong lead late.
Allied pulling pretty far ahead of Zapman here now, a level ahead, about 500 gold, as well as an entire Devourer's Gloves over Zapman. Zapman sitting on Combat Boots too, so this is going to be a very big ask for Zapman to hold this lane in parity versus Allied. Rom's clear, just so good.
The main thing that I'm seeing right here is that, you know, the greatest source of damage for Dig is going to be the best in Zapman. As far as the average stats go, the best in Zapman do about 19.5k average, which is very, very high on both Agni and Ul respectively. So definitely a lot of damage dealt, but the thing is, Zapman's the least farmed in the game right now. He's actually 200 gold behind his support, played by Shadow Q. He's got his Heart Secret, but of course, that's not the item you want to have when you're very far behind.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, taking the deaths. Only 1 death to his name, though, so has probably been able to recoup those stacks so far, but it's still frustrating to have that item and fall behind.
Yes.
I mean, it's really, I mean, it is very much a snowball item, and he has not snowballed.
Weaken sitting on a 1,400 gold. He can go home and finish off that chin size on Nemesis. That's a big, big deal. He's got the penetration. There it is. So he likes to do things as I'm talking about them. Thank you, Weaken. I see you up on stage. You're doing a great job there. It's just making me look great. So he's got that chin size locked up now. In the mid lane, we do see an opportunity for Lassus to go in. He's up in the air looking for Jerby. Purification speeds down. Misses the stun. Misses the second stun. Misses the hammer. The bombs are down, but without damage from Last, there's no kill.
When you miss all of your spells, it's unlikely you're going to convert to gank. And there we see, ooh, Allied fighting that solo kill onto Zapman. Just like that, Incon going to help out a bit as well. But that is a nice play there for Allied. Gives him a great opportunity to put some aggressive positioning down on this tower.
Weaken. Last got nowhere to go. He doesn't have a teleport, doesn't have an ultimate either. And there goes the kill. Now look for Anatoly. They don't have the slow, but they get one from the exposed evil. Oh, the best is in trouble. Needs a dash. Does he have it? Dashes away. The stun gets it anyway. Belly flop comes up. Purification beast gets used though. Does he have intoxicate? It looks like he does, but he's not going to use it this time. This may be a chance for them to take down the mid tower.
Allied going to be able to put in some damage onto the left side tower as well as Shadow Q tries to hold it, but maybe more importantly, forcing Shadow Q to stay stuck to this tower so that Snipe can put that damage into the mid.
Oh, they're going to go for it. Actually go for the mid. Oh, the movement speed's up. Did they have a ward there? Is he going to ward over the wall? He does. He sees it. Do they go for it? They should.
They should, yeah. Zatman and ShadowQ, the only two that are going to be able to get into position. They're going to turn the corner. It's just going to die too fast. Zatman may have an opportunity to snipe it, but is not going to get it. He is going to get it.
Wow.
What a player.
Zatman high-fiving himself right now, getting that movement speed off the ground. And Last is like, oh, hey, free buff. Picks it up on the ground. They're going to take the blue buff here. Can they get the double steal? No, looks like it's going to go to the side of Snipe. Belly flop atop of ShadowQ, forcing it back. X-Stun's going to miss, as of course he casually sidesteps that. You need to be careful if you're niching on a support. There's the Intoxicate. Last teleports away just in time. Rom does he have an ultimate? It looks like he does not. There goes the hit. ShadowQ will go down. Need a little bit more damage to take out Zatman. Can they do it?
I don't think they're going to be able to take him just this moment. They may look to dive the tower. They may look to go secure that mid-lane tower.
It's back off cooldown. He has the distance. Hub was there. There he goes. One shot going to come down shortly. Does he look for it? Oh, missing that one. Second one comes out, hits the second one. Third one come out, missing that third one. And Incon's just forcing him out of the fight. Here comes Weekend, though.
Yeah, we just made so much room. Incon in some trouble eating meteors, but it's not going to be enough to find the kill just yet. Zatman is going to fall to Allied. Weekend staying in there, going to shrug off a couple hits. Lassus with a big stun coming in, but beads away by Allied. Allied going to be able to fall back, and that's a Thor ult down with no conversions. In the meantime, however, Tully able to take out that tier 1 on the right.
Tully does what Tully does best. He just goes, kills a tower, and then he joins the fight.
Lassus in a lot of trouble here, going to be forced to teleport away, but is it going to be enough? Weekend very, very fast. Jeremy going to crush away through the tower and find the kill.
A little more damage. The tower will come through. Hubble will survive. Double kill for Jeremy. He gets the kill on Best as well. Here's the thing, is that the distance he's able to clear with that blink makes such a big influence on the fight overall, because you think Hub was too far away, and all of a sudden he's in your face, and that hurts a lot.
Yeah, and Jeremy definitely holding this one in his pocket, looking very strong and very confident on Hubwa. At 6-1-2 in a 12-1 game, 16 minutes in. Snipe all over this one.
4,600 gold in the lead, and there's only a 1 tower differential in the favor of Dig. They have not killed a single tower except for these minions that have just been paused. They're trying to get that tower so desperately. I don't know if they will. It looks like the minions will show up just in time, but with no towers down, that's a big difference for Snipe. Dig is actually ahead in towers and 4,600 gold behind. Dig needs to pull something out of their hat, and they need to do it soon. Yeah,
definitely not where you want to be. And taking a look maybe at the player damage will illuminate a little of this here. You're looking at basically the best in the mid lane on Agni, one of the most potent damage dealers in the entire game, doing roughly the same amount of damage as Incontinentia's done so far, 16 minutes into this one.
16 minutes is a long time, especially for Dig. It'd be every single minute that they spend in the early game that's not successful. Statistically, Dig does not play well. However, they do play the best from behind, as more than most teams do. I mean, honestly, Zatman's pretty good when he doesn't have enough gold. Lassus is very good when he doesn't have enough gold. And in fact, Anatoly generally doesn't have that much at all. But Anatoly is proving to his teammates here that he may be going into manager position, but he can still play the game. He's currently playing a lot. Let's look at the Hunters here. Zatman versus Allied, 454 to 487. Zatman farms way more than Allied does. 70% win to 82%. The kills are way over the top as well. So Zatman is a staple of Dig.
Yeah, I mean, Zatman trending statistically much higher than Allied has. And that's really been the case for a long time, right?
Yes.
Zatman definitely the more aggressive player. That's why you see the GPM and KDA a bit higher. Well, a successfully aggressive player, I should say. And, of course, the win-loss rate a bit higher. So when you win, of course, your stats are going to be higher. Dignitas with a lot more wins in the season than Snipe was able to secure, obviously with their roster changes and their a little bit more fly-by the seat of their pants play style with the Captain Shing. No big surprise he Allied a little bit behind in stats, but he's definitely the more conservative player as well.
Well, he's also the only Hunter that we have here today that has a win recorded with less than average GPM, of global average, of course, 430. He's the only Hunter that has that recorded. That means that he is one of those players that even though he doesn't have the gold, he can play smart enough to work around it. So that's what we're going to see from Allied coming up in these next few matches. Now look at the gods picked so far. Thor, again, like I mentioned earlier, the stats from last on Thor, well below average damage, well below average kills, but takes a lot of damage and does a lot of structure damage. So the way Last plays Thor is more of a team fighter setup kind of person. We saw that there. I mean, obviously missing some of the abilities in the mid lane didn't really make that much of a difference because he's able to get the kill afterwards. He's got to get those stuns, and if he sets up the team fight right, you've got damage from the Vulcan ultimate. And what I'd like to see from Anatoly is not going for those big, greedy, long-range Earthshakers, because those generally don't work. Go for the mid-range. Go for the short range. Just get the damage burst out, knock him up in the air, get that backfire damage, put the turret on the ground, and take someone out of the fight.
So the tower over here, tier 1 on the left side, has no health remaining. And the question here is, are these archers in mid-volley on the tower? It looks like it's going to take 1 or 2 more archer starts to take it down, but the minion wave coming in is Zatman as well. But if this tower falls, that's going to put, well, Snipe ahead by pretty close to 6,000 gold at that point, with only 2 towers down, only the 1 at the moment. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, over 5,000 gold ahead. And so is Dignitas, do they have a path back into this game? I mean, you're hitting the point now, maybe even a few minutes past the point where you would expect this style of lineup to be most potent.
No, statistically, no. Dignitas is not a team that plays towards the mid and late game. Now, granted, they do have, on average, the highest amount of game time per game. 28 minutes is well over average, way more than any other team we have here today. So they play long matches. They're used to that kind of endurance run. And Snipe, statistically, has lower game time. So they may not be used to the kind of long grind that Dignitas has, especially with their great LAN experience comparatively to every other team that we have out here today. Now, look at the gold numbers. It's going to be a pretty long grind for Dig to come back from this. But however, looking across the way, there's a lot of damage on the side of Snipe. Habwa, Nemesis, Rom, but they're very easy to kill.
Sure.
Habwa is a target that if you catch him at the right angle, he vaporizes. Same thing for Nemesis, although a little more difficult. And Rom, same thing. If Rom doesn't have an ultimate, if he's not flying in the air, he's a pretty easy target to take out. So if Snipe makes major mistakes, which, at 12-1, they haven't made very many so far, if they do, Dig can capitalize, but they got to make sure they choose their fights right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at these fights and say, if the fight isn't over in about 15 seconds, it's going to go to Snipe.
Yes.
I mean, Nemesis gets very strong towards the end of fights, chasing people down, putting out those slows. Zhang Kui obviously channeling his damage out over time. Bak is able to interrupt so effectively with his ultimate as well as the burp and leap combination, and Hubble able to chase people down very well.
I love Weekend's choice here. This is strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Weekend is 700 gold ahead of the most farm on the side of Dig. He is incredibly ahead of Lasses. He's 1,200 gold individually ahead of the enemy jungler, and he says, you know what? I've got Chin Size. I'm going to get Magi's Blessing. I love that because now he's so far ahead. He has the damage from the Chin Size, and any initiation they have on the side of Dig, he will counteract and be able to get back in the fight and use his abilities to the most effectiveness. He's also get stats from his ultimate. So Weekend is making an incredibly intelligent choice here.
Yeah, when he uses that ultimate will be very, very tanky with the Magi's Blessing on top of it, plus shrugging off the 1CC, as you mentioned. Gold Fury respawning here, guys. 17 minutes, 10 seconds into the game. It's a 12-1 kill advantage in favor of Snipe. They're up 4,500 gold, 7,000 experience as well, and they really need this win or they will be knocked out of this tournament. Dignitas up 1 game to nothing.
The tower. Allied wants it. Dashes in. Just shoot it once.
Just shoot the tower, dude.
Just shoot it.
Hey, there it is. Allied #1 tower shooter, North America, finds that kill. That is a 5,100 gold advantage now in favor of Snipe.
Gold Fury is available as well. You see Weekend warding it up, make sure that it is all covered up. He's going to go towards it. It looks like he's starting it here. 4 players in the area, 4 dead. All ultimates in the game are currently active. 10 ultimates to be used, and how will they be used is the question. They're going to leash it away to see them kind of heading over towards the area. Vulcan is there because it does have the Earthshaker as well. Keep all eyes on Habwa. If Habwa gets a good flank, I don't think Dig can ever win.
It'd be very, very hard. I mean, if he's able to secure one target, look, he's going to get a water spout over the wall and Anatoly. No, Jeremy's going to fall down now.
If he dies, it's a Gold Fury. There it goes. Earthshaker coming out. Is going to land on anyone's going to hit 2, it looks like. But they're very tanky. Shell on the ground. Thor Dunk looking for Jeremy. They have to kill Habwa here. The Crush Knife comes out, looking for the best. Great Aegis Amulet from the best and avoids the death. Jeremy is down. Weekend is trapped. But so is Anatoly.
Yeah, totally in a lot of trouble. Going to be forced to use Combat Blink to get out of there. Best still alive, but they have to go back to the base. Lasses trying to make plays on the Allied. Is not going to be there. 1, 2, 3, missing the shot. Lasses dies, Allied dies, looking for Zap, man. Weekend comes out. There goes the kill. Jump over the wall with the Glory Bound. No extras are coming through that one. Possibly should have popped that a little bit early there. But looks like the Gold Fury is available. The support is gone, but Incontinentia is alive on the side of Snipe. They can take this down if they want it. This is risky. Well, there is no Vulcan ultimate available to really punish it, but I think they're just going to play this one conservatively. No reason to force it out, even though they did get the kill onto the enemy support. ShadowQ is back, and Geb able to close distance very well.
Vulcan is available. Dig is in the area. They're going to start it up here. Incon is there. Looks like we have ShadowQ coming back as well. He's got the tier 3 Hand of the Gods. Coming back in his Zapman. Single target damage to start up. Do they have the follow-up? There's no Habwa. There's no Alex. It's a 3 versus 4. Can they get the damage they need? Not the belly flop. Looking for it. There's the Hog. Snipe steals it or gets it away. Now looking for the follow-up here. Incon goes down. Looking for Kiki in a corner. Nowhere to go. The damage comes through in there. And Kiki will fall in as well. Double kill for Anatoly. So they lose the Gold Fury, but they get a double token prize.
But what can they do with those kills? It does make Anatoly the top farm member on their team, 9,300 gold. He has the Warlock Sash and Pen Boots, but is Vulcan really the god that they need to pile on the back of and try to carry to victory?
This sounds weird, but I would like to see them go for Fire Giant. They don't have a support. Lasses up in the air, looking for a wicked knock-up. Can they get it? Jeremy's got to die here. They can't let him go. Crushing wave. There goes the hit. Dodging that on top. There goes the damage. Dropping low. Jeremy's still alive. He cannot live if Dig has any chance of success. He's dropping low. Knock-up. Water cannon, he's dropping the single base attack, will do it, he gets it away. It's a 1-4 exchange on the backside. Weekend will force away Last into the grave, and now it's going to be a decent enough trade for Snipe to prevent them from going for anything else.
That's a great trade for Snipe. They pick up Anatoly, who was a top farmer on the team. They kill Lassus as well, keep him down. All they give up is their Hubwa, who spent a long time in that fight. Weekend did not go down either. Definitely a win for Snipe, and they are playing very well with their advantage. However, only 5,000 at this point is really not that much. They haven't done a great job of building their lead on the back of these kills. That's something that we haven't seen so far, but they are going to find the mid tower here. They should go ahead and pressure the right side as well, force a 5-man out of Team Dignitas, and then really look to build this lead over the 10,000 mark and feel secure.
Jerby is incredibly far ahead in the damage done, 13.1k total. That is way ahead of anyone. In fact, that's 5,000 damage more than the highest damaging person on Team Dignitas, which of course would be Anatoly on Vulcan, which is primarily poke damage. He doesn't have a lot of finished burst damage, a lot of poke damage coming out from there. So across the way, Last is very low on damage, as stats would support. 5,500 damage dealt, that's a little bit more than Shadow Q on Geb, but again, he's the initiator, he's the controller of the fight. But compare that to Weekend, who of course is crossing that 10,000 damage dealt. He's almost doubling Last's damage as Nemesis with a Magic's Blessing picked up. It looks like he's going to be heading for what looks like an Aussie, so he's going to have a little more attack speed and lifesteal. So now Weekend just going to start swinging that sword and swinging it fast.
I like how you called Vulcan's damage not finish burst damage. Is it Swedish?
Yes. It's Swedish, yeah.
Swedish burst damage. Makes sense. Making meatballs.
Yep.
Got the mustache.
It's all some cheese on it.
So, left side lane, maybe some trouble for Zapman getting knocked up. It is a dead Zapman, in fact, that we are going to be seeing shortly here. The sprint's pop, the auto attack, Jerby going to blow a blink, and an ult, because hell, why not? Kill a Zapman, win a game, and down goes the carry for Team Dignitas. Positioning here in the mid lane from Shadowq and Incontinentia, just kind of jousting with each other, and this one seems almost a bit like Dignitas has resigned themselves to a loss.
Thor is heading over to the left side to defend it. The tier 1 tower is down. The only tier 1 tower remaining on the side of Dig is going to be that right side solo lane, which has been abandoned up until this point. Look at that optimization. Kiki the Chunk has gone for Ethereal Staff into Higher to the Urchin, getting very tanky, but again, it's hurting his damage numbers. In fact, it looks like he's very low on damage, 7,400 dealt total to Gods. He hasn't really been able to activate so far because he's playing so safe. He's got the health, he's got the defense, but they need damage from him. That's what John Quaid does. He doesn't really have a whole lot of CC brought to the fight. You pop the ultimate, whoop, you do their little ghost. He pops the card, what do you do? It's a little card. What does paper do to me? And that's the big thing for him. You gotta have the damage. That's the big thing. I mean, you need damage from John Quaid, and he's so tanky that he hasn't been able to kind of coalesce that Ethereal Staff into damage until he buys more items.
Looks like we have another pause coming out from Snipe. It appears that perhaps it's hardware related.
Kronos is angry that he didn't get picked.
Okay, Kronos is angry he wasn't picked.
He keeps
stopping
pausing time.
I get it.
He's so stubborn. I hate him.
Let's talk quickly about the ward coverage here from Snipe this game. It's definitely been much better than what we've seen coming out of Dignitas, as well as the fact that they are sitting on quite a few sentry wards.
Yes, the vision coverage has been a big thing for Snipe, and honestly, it's a big reason why they have 17-6. It's also the reason that Zapman has been repeatedly picked off, because Zapman's the kind of person that just, he looks at the map and says, I don't see any dots, I'm safe.
Right.
Wait a minute, there's something called Fog of War. There could be many dots inside of that. And that's the problem that's running into. He's kind of focusing on the fight, and that's what happens. That a lot of times Zapman is the driving force for damage for them, but he's running a Heartseeker, and he's the least farmed in the game overall with the second highest deaths on his team. That means they don't really have any single target damage, they can't take objectives, and they can't get the position they need because the best keeps getting zoned out. I think Snipe has figured out what shuts down the machine that is Team Dignitas.
Zapman's done half the damage that Allied's done, basically.
Yes.
Well, actually, I'm sorry, half of what Jerby's done and about a little under half, or a little over half of what Allied's done. Let's hold that thought, though, as a Fire Giant is started here by Snipe, but it's purely bait. They just want to pick up a kill here. Shadowq not going to get sent out. He will, but he has the shield active. They shouldn't try to go on. Fire Giant is leashed, but you can tell very, very obviously what Snipe's game plan is here. It's going to be force out the 5-man team fight.
That was a really weird thing. It seems like two of them were baiting it out, and the other three were like, hey, let's just leash because I don't want to do it anymore. And it's like, well, we could have done something with that.
Right.
And so they kind of scattered about there a little bit, not together as much as you would hope they would be, but again, they were smart enough to leash when they could early, and that's the biggest thing teams have to learn is that don't stick on the objective if you don't feel like you can take it.
Well, Jari, talk to me about Aussie on weekend here as the fourth item to follow up that Magi's Blessing.
Now, he's looking at the enemy team. only one of them realistically has bought any defense. I mean, obviously you're going to get sovereignty every single game, but Lassus has that void shield, a little physical protection there. He wants a little bit of penetration, but the other thing is he realizes that with the Magi's blessing and the fact that a lot of characters on the other side will use their mobility abilities to initiate and won't have them afterwards, he's got the slow, he just wants to stick them and swing, 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 swing. He's got penetration, he's got life steal to keep him on the target longer, and attack speed to keep swinging harder, which also would synergize well with the pass from Chin's side. So all Weekend wants right now is to use his ultimate on the juiciest target. It's going to be last. It's going to be Zabin. It's going to be the best. Bringing their stats down.
Left side of the map right there. Take a look. Gold Fury's started by Snipe, just now getting sniffed out by the best, but Ally's just going to sit there and face tank it. Are the rotations going to be in time? They're going to be able to spot out Last as he's farming creeps in the mid lane. Going to try to make his way in, but he's going to get zoned out by Jeremy, taking a lot of damage.
Block.
Here comes Shadowkey trying to make it his way in, but it's just not going to happen. Snipe destroys the Gold Fury, and just like that, another easy objective secured, and they're going to look for more.
Oh, they're looking for Shadowkey. They're forcing him away. The turret's on the ground doing some damage here, forcing him out. Incon. Oh, there goes the water cannon. Needs the knockup. Not going to land it, though. The rollout won't buy enough time. Rom's up there, but not going to be able to finish off the rock that is Geb. I swear to God, Weekend did that play. Oh, Last jumping on top. There's the teleport away. He's very, very low. They want it. They're going to get it. Crushing Wave hits him in the face. Beth is dashing away. There's the roll, the cripple, the damage. No ultimate usage there from Shadowkey to land on anyone. His ally is completely displaced. Needs 2 shots more to get it. Missing the last 2, and they're going to back off. But again, what I was about to say there is I believe Weekend did that play with his pinky out, because that was classy. He body blocked the rollout from Geb, who could not get close to the Gold Fury, and it was just free.
Yeah, didn't want to use the ultimate to try to set it up for himself and was unable to secure it. Another thing about the Aussie, to go back to Weekend here, is that probably one of the, I would say if you ask 100 Smite players, 99 of them would have no idea what the Aussie's passive is. Right? No one buys this item.
What's Aussie?
Yeah, right. The Draining Blade thing, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so, I mean, what this item does, it gives you an additional 25% physical life steal when you drop below a threshold of 35% health. Very good synergy with the Nemesis, with the shield that prevents her from taking too much damage, can survive very well with just a little tiny bit of HP.
That's right. Fire Giant is available here. The gold area is completely cleared out, but very heavily warded. Good counter warding from Dig in front of the area. That's the big thing. It's like if you're behind, your warding has to be impeccable. That's what we're seeing here from Dig. They're covering the Fire Giant area and realizing that if Snipe goes for it again, they're going to be there.
Yeah, I really like this this Hebo blink, this He-blink from Jerby here. It's been very, very effective. I mean, it's just basically not the kind of general style of Hebo we see, which is like wait for the team fight to really break out and get chaotic and then start throwing in water cannons and just see what happens. More of a initiation style.
Shadowkey forced away. The flame wave comes through there. There's the stun from Agni. Can they get Shadowkey? If they get this is huge. There goes the card, the crushing wave to secure it. And now the Fire Giant is shaking in his boots as they run on over. There's not even hunters on this side of the map as Ally and Zabin are fighting blow for blow. Zabin's running away. There goes the slow. There goes the hit. Can Zabin get away? He's got nowhere to go. Up into the air goes Rum. 1, 2, 3, 2, and 3. Zabin's wiggling like a noodle.
Yeah, but there comes the dash out as well, and that's an easy kill. In the meantime, Vulcan picked up. He tried to get a little too close to aggressive Fire Giant, destroyed by Snipe. They make their way back into the pit, and they're looking to clean it up. There is an Agni and a Thor available, but they're getting zoned out. Last has resigned himself to farming a blue buff, but even that may be a tall task now as he's forced away, and Snipe takes a Fire Giant 27 minutes in with a big advantage, now hitting that magical 10K mark where they can start feeling very confident in themselves for a victory.
That was incredibly rude of them to not let him have the blue buff. I mean, you get Fire Giant, let him have a freaking blue buff. I mean,
yeah, you could at least use some mana.
Ridiculous.
Poor guy.
CDR. Now they're pushing to the right side of the map, all grouping up together, and of course they do have their hunter now joining the fray here. Ally is sitting at 13.1k, and this is exactly what Snipe was missing. Get gold on that hunter, and all of a sudden things will go so much better for you. I feel like Snipe has finally figured out how they're going to play this match out. The right side Phoenix is under pressure now with the best in the mid lane pushing the mid tower.
Not the right player for that.
It's not worth your time.
It's not the right player for that. I mean, you just need those meteors to try to hold this team out, and Best not going to have them. They're not even going to get the trade. If you're going to do that, commit to it, I guess. You're definitely not saving your Phoenix.
Yep, the tower didn't even go down there. The Phoenix will fall. So now are they sitting at 28 minutes, 21-6 in favor of Snipe. They're sitting at 12.4k gold in the lead, and things are looking so good for Snipe right now. And again, keep in mind, this is a best-of-3 series. So game 1 went to Dignitas. Snipe here exactly. Oh, Kiki in the middle lane. There's the stun coming out. The Earthshaker will not land.
Not a chance. Look at his items. He has an Ethereal Staff and a Hide of the Urchin. He's level 20. He's got a high net worth. He's 1-1-6. He's huge. I mean, he's probably got, what? Let's see. Let's take a look, actually. I can tell you exactly what he's got. He's sitting on just under 2,000 HP.
Yeah, here's the problem.
I'm sorry, just under 3,000. 2,850 HP.
Here's the problem. He's done about 20% more damage than their support.
Right.
So he's a big man. He's a big old dude. He's going to take a lot of damage, but they also need it for a little more damage if Allied can't survive, if Jerby can't survive.
Boots.
Well, they have
done. He's got the Ethereal Staff, stacking up the HP, getting more magical power. Just finished the Spear of the Magus, which will pay dividends for him, to borrow some Hindu man logic there. But 230 magical power as well as that pen stacking up from the Spear of the Magus.
Right.
And that actually may be a big trap for Dignitas here. Kiki, to date, has not done too much damage, but here, in this next team fight, the ghosts are going to hurt.
Well, they keep focusing. That's the big thing, right? I mean, if you have a character like Hubble who has 3 ultimates on your team, you may as well just use them, right? The damage output from him is huge. Nemesis doing tons of damage as well. Building for the basic attack build. Looks like Thor is going to go on home. Last is not really one part of the fight. This last remaining tower for Dignitas, they cannot go out. The Fire Giant buff looks like it's got like a minute and 45 seconds left to run along the course of buff. That, of course, gives them physical and magical damage as well as some regeneration. There goes the last remaining tower. They have 2 Phoenixes remaining.
I don't know if I'm comfortable saying it's some regeneration. It is an absolute shit ton of regeneration. I mean, these guys are looking all full HP, all full mana, and they will not be dropping unless they die. I mean, it is percentage-based and flat. It's actually huge. That's actually most of what this does. The physical power is only really helping them take a Phoenix. ShadowQ jumping into this fight. It isn't going to be enough. Lashes is taking the skies. They are grouped up. He's going to find it, but the Earthshaker's going to get avoided by Rob. And Ally just raining in the damage. This looks like it's Snipe time to win the game. ShadowQ is down. No more tanky frontline presence. Their solo laner, Anatoly, not tanky at all.
Cripple, the damage. Allied wants some fight going on here. Looks like Incon and Weekend are going to head out the other way. Keep the Chunk and Jerby are there as well. Here comes the best. The bomb on the ground can do some damage. The knockout from Hubwa's going to be enough to put him into a bad situation. He dashes away. Weekend goes in. The stun from Zapman is going to be enough. Weekend dashes away. They're going to get a kill, but what is it worth? They lose their Phoenix in the meantime. Just need a few more shots to take it down. 3 Phoenixes down for Dignitas. They got a kill, but at what cost? Lasses has to dash away from this. The card is ticking lower and lower. The best just got crit into nothing as Zapman's trying to fight.
You're not supposed to catch those. You're not supposed to try to dodge them.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Zapman doing his best dartboard impression there as he just takes a lot of shots to the face from Allied. Now the Titan is exposed. The right side Phoenix will be respawning shortly, but so will the Fire Giant.
Yeah, and that's definitely where Snipe is headed. They're going to go ahead and fall back, pick up their items. They're sitting on almost 2,000 gold per player. You can see them stacking up now. Allied thought it was hitting hard before, now has a Deathbringer on top of his Rage Blade. Brought to Hootie, done for Jerby. Let's just for, a good time, let's take a look at how much magical power Hubwa has. 574 with his passive stacked up in that Fire Giant buff.
Can you not be giving me nightmares for tonight?
That's a lot
I want
of
to sleep tonight. It's a long day. I want to be tired. I want to have nightmares, and that's exactly what Hubwa is. And again, like we were mentioning earlier, Hubwa's effectiveness is being able to effectively flank. He's a flanker. If Hubwa can flank you and you don't know about it, that's the end of the team fight. Because he's going to knock 2 people up, crushing wave, water cannon, and everyone's dead. And that's the big thing. You have to have tons of awareness and tons of preparedness.
Father.
He is.
Terrible father.
It's ridiculous.
Knocks people up and then just kills you and runs away.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Terrible.
Ridiculous.
Disgusting.
Doesn't even stick around.
Fire Giant buff. Up. Our Fire Giant, I'm sorry, going to be available once again here in about 15 seconds. Look at Snipe's positioning.
Oh, man, they want it.
Poor Dignitas.
Knock up.
2-man knock up. Lass is in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have time to ult. He's going to get stunned out for being able to port away with Mjolnir's attunement. Best now knocked up. And that's a Soul Reaver done on Incontinentia. And anytime you see that item out on the enemy support, you know that it is time for you to lay down, because that means that he's putting out an additional percent damage on top of all of his tankiness with his initiations. And Bacchus may be one of the best damage dealers of all the supports. ShadowQ now in a lot of trouble.
So brave.
He can't deal with that Hubwa damage.
So brave.
And down he falls to Allied.
He is the bravest boulder ever.
This should be the game, my friends.
Incon's in the front side. Weekend go for a fight with Zapman. Jerby's just going to kill him for good reason. There goes the Titan. Titan's exposed with Anatoly going down. Ooh, the Aegis Amulet in the well. Jerby stands in the well because he wants to. And the second game of this series will be going to Snipe, 28-7. Today is a day of history, ladies and gentlemen, because we have the lower-seeded teams coming back after losing Game 1 and showing what they're made of. Man, am I excited to see Game 3.
Yeah, I hope that we get the European LAN repeat here. I mean, it was great to see the 3rd and 4th place seeds going head-to-head in the finals. Snipe, a lot of momentum. That first win from Dignitas was very standard fare, very standard Dignitas win. This was Snipe playing lights out and getting a lot of momentum on the back of that.
Now, we talked a lot about Zapman in the last game, the fact that he just was so far behind throughout the duration of it, but he does a lot of damage when he needs to. So let's check out this replay here on the screen. You're going to see Uhl kind of come through as the fight goes through. Out on the backside, you're going to focus the Phoenix, and that's what he does best, right? He's going to clear it out, and Zapman's going to do something very strange here. He gets the kill on Weaken, and all of a sudden he's going to come back out from the base and try to fight. The knockup comes through. There goes the kill on Anatoly. Now we see Alad dashing forward here, looking for some more damage here on top, and everyone backs up. Watch the crit on Ogni. Look how much damage this goes. His HP goes down, and Zapman's like, hey, guys, I got this. I got this. I don't got this.
Yeah, you got 3 shot there. That's tough. I mean, it just does so much damage when you play Rom. The slow, you hit the 1 slow and then the 2 consecutive auto attacks.
And the 1 second cripple?
Yeah, how are you supposed to deal with that?
You don't.
You don't. You die. You roll over and you let him kill you.
You let him kill you. And that's going to be the match, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a game 3 coming up next. But let's toss it over to the expert desk to see what they think.
Hello everyone, hi-rez, Kelly here. What an interesting game we just saw. It is now 1-1 between Snipe and Dignitas, so we're going on to game 3. But before we do that, we're gonna go check out a video. It's not just North American and European players that are gonna be making it to the World Championships. It is also going to be the Chinese players as well. Let's see how they fared at a recent play match they had against TSM and Dignitas.